We finally made it back to BB Can a week after the finale aired. Yay!
Look, life is life, and we had things to do. So
and we didn't care enough. Anyway, welcome to a finale edition of the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality. And you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. Gay, we are just drinking water.
Period.
Because I don't plan on staying up all that late tonight, for once. Hydration is always important. But if I was drinking something, I would be drinking out of my cup mug, which I currently don't have because it's currently being washed. But the link will be below, and Lana has hers because she always does. Yeah, merch link below. Boom.
And hello, I am Lana, your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea. Her. And yeah, if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I am also just drinking water because hydration is important, gives you clear skin, and all of that good stuff. And of course, if I was drinking something, it'd be in my cup mug because that's what you drink it out of to get all of your good tea in your cup mug. But
well,
creations.etsy.com.
Well, Lana, we finally did it. We did it the way that we started the season. We're gonna end the season the same way, just the two of us. We can make it if we try.
Stop. We don't want to get to stop. We don't want to get compromised. We don't want copyright.
We aren't important enough to YouTube to get copyright claims.
You know, people, whatever.
So we are talking about the final week. We realized we didn't talk about the fourth place eviction. So we're going to briefly touch on that of Big Brother Canada season 11. The season is over. Thank God. Full tea. Thank God. I don't think it was a bad season by any means of the imagination. Will this be in my top 5 favorite seasons of BB Can? I don't think so.
No.
If it is, it's 5th. But I don't think it is. So.
I mean, look, we started the season out by saying, with the fact that they're not doing live feeds, we warned y'all from the beginning that our interest may waver off of this season. But the only reason we're pursuing this season is because we had someone we knew in this season. And as long as they were in the game, we were going to be watching. And you know what? This person stuck around all the way to the end of the game. So they made us watch all the way to the end of the show. So, dang you, we see you, we got you, and we appreciate you and applaud you for making us watch the entire season of this train wreck of a show, because it was just that, a train wreck from beginning to end. It was emotional highs, it was emotional lows.
Lots of lows.
It made us happy at points. It made us furious at other points. And then it made us to the point where we just didn't care because we saw the writing on the wall. Mm-hmm. So it is what it is. That was the show. We did it. We finished it. Whatever. It's done. I don't know. I don't even know what else to say about it because I wasn't in it. I wasn't just I gotta do it. I wanna watch it. Some days I was more into it than I was other days, and so
it was really strange being a pseudo casual.
Yeah.
And I'm really not used to that anymore.
I don't like it.
I will say, we have always been vehemently against digital dailies. What I will say is I think they were better than I anticipated them being.
Agreed.
There were a lot of quality. The quality of them was all over the place. It wasn't they did the job with what they said they were going to do. And I think in that regard, they were fine.
Yeah, I mean, some days we got really good quality stuff in the digital dailies, and then some days we got fluff, and it wasn't any like. I feel like the digital dailies gave us just enough to say it wasn't that bad, but not enough to say it was great. If that makes sense.
I could not agree with you more. And I mean, in a lot of ways, it kept me intrigued for what we were going to see on the show. And then in a lot of other ways, I was like, well, I already know what's happening because this is live feed light.
Right.
So it's like, I already know, oh, that fight happened. I've heard about it. I can't wait to see it. I don't know. Like,
who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows
But so
let's jump into this last week, because when we left off, Renee was gone. Renee was
gone.
She was the seventh juror. Sure.
Yes.
So then the HOH was Ty. Was it Ty?
Yeah, so we left off where we left off last time. The Final Four HOH was in progress.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it was the day's comp. Ty won.
I was about to say, no surprise there.
He nominated Claudia and Daniel. And then we saw the veto. The veto was really cool, actually.
Yeah, the veto was pretty cool.
It was what, 4 or 5 different, like, basically escape rooms that they had to go through.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed pretty cool. I was like, I would want to play that veto, sure.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And Claudia pulled out the veto win. Great. Wonderful.
Sure.
Good for you, gal.
Oh, good on you.
So we get through Wednesday's episode. Whatever. Claudia takes herself off the block. Final noms are then Anika and Daniel. Claudia has a sole vote to evict. She evicts Anika.
Bye, Anika.
Shocker. I will say, I remember, I actually went back. Well, I didn't. My YouTube recommended played back randomly out of nowhere. I just had it on while I was doing homework one day. It randomly popped onto our cast assessment for the season. And so I watched it. I was like, I want to remember what we thought. And we were not feeling Anika at all. And I will say, I really grew. I think she was a lovely character. I'm glad that she was able to learn and adapt to the game. I think she did that very, very well. This was about as far as I personally saw her going, about halfway through the season. I was like, she'll top 4 maybe. And guess what? She was 4th. So good on you, girl.
Good on you.
Great. Whatever. So finale. It's finale time.
It's finale.
And we get Lana. There's an audience.
I know.
There was an audience. And I, for one, was gagged.
I was happy, and I was like, is this a requisite of what's to come? Are we going to get an audience for 25? And I hope so, because it is ways to do it. Mm-hmm. It can be a smaller audience, and which, like, they had an audience for 24 at the end. So I was happy about that. So I'm glad that they're getting back to bringing in the live audiences. And so I'm happy. I hope we get more audience, like, from the beginning of 25. Like, nobody goes out of the house with no applause.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I hope we're able to get, audiences. I think that's it. It really does impact. It really does impact the enjoyment.
Show. Yeah. To hear somebody cheering for somebody, like, well, we'll talk about it, but having their reactions and people reacting to what's happening, I think it adds the element to the show, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we got part one of the final HOH. Of course, we can't go an HOH comp without it being sponsored. This one was cute, though. It was Little Mermaid sponsored, period. Go see The Little Mermaid if you are so inclined to do so.
Which I will be on Friday.
I don't think I'll be seeing it in theaters. I'm not like a movie theater person, but I will see it when it comes onto the streaming platforms. I'm very excited to do so. I just don't like theaters. Not my thing. But,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
That requires going out and talking to people. I don't like doing that.
I don't talk to nobody when I go to the movie theaters by myself.
No, but you have to like talk to people that work there and like talk to people when you
okay.
I don't like it. But so yeah, it's Little Mermaid sponsored. Everybody's in these like metallic blue suits. And so you have to go through this like pool, basically. Yeah, it's to like uncover. So the whole point is you have to stack 30 discs on a platform with a tension rope. So it spins the whole time. But each one of them had a different diagram of how to build theirs.
Yes.
I thought that was cool.
I thought that was cool because nobody could just copy what the other person was doing.
Exactly. And I think there were like there were 3 or 4 different sizes of little things on there.
Yes.
So
yeah.
So to nobody's surprise, as we always see in these part ones where you have to stack stuff, things fall over, and more things fall over, and more things fall over. And guess what? More things fell over, Lana. And the biggest one, it basically comes down to Ty and Claudia. And Ty was doing very well, and then he was like 5 or so away, something. It was very close, and he drops all his. And Daniel at that point, I think, was like halfway through. Daniel, God love him, did not do all that well in this part of the HOH. And it gave enough room for Claudia to squeak on through and win part 1 of the final HOH. Or yeah, part 1 of the final HOH. That is a correct statement. So she goes automatically to part 3. Didn't I call it a couple weeks ago, Lana? I was like, she could win out.
Yep.
So I won't talk about it. So we go to part 2, which is called Hands of Time. This is one of the coolest setups for a BB Can comp I've seen in a long time. I loved this. They're on a clock, and like the question gets displayed up top, and you have to like roll a ball down to like match whatever the thing was.
The moving hand or the clock.
Yeah, so like one of them was like days. So it was like days that Renee was up for the eviction vote or something like that. And so it would rotate, and you had to drop it into the things, and it was really cool. Neither of them did well.
Both of them struggled. It
was a struggle.
It really only takes you missing out on one thing and trying to figure out where you messed up. That takes all your time. And both of them had that. They couldn't figure out one thing, and it ate up a lot of their time.
Yeah. So we ended up, Daniel had a time of 1 hour, 17 minutes, and 58 seconds. And Ty had a time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 14 seconds, meaning that Ty is the winner of part 2. And our dear, sweet Daniel has to hope someone's going to take him to the final 2.
With Ty and Claudia.
Let's talk about the jury roundtable, because there wasn't a whole lot to talk about because they only showed like 5 minutes of it. But Kevin is back.
Kevin's there.
I loved it. And then they bring out Anika, and she's mad at Ty.
And Kuzi.
For spilling the beans about the crown.
I'm like, okay. You're mad at Kuzi for doing what you did. Oh. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't understand that. I was like, You mad at Kuzi for doing the same thing you did. You mad at Kuzi for playing the game and trying to, you know, stay in the game when you were throwing her under the bus too. But and then for Hope to be like, you told Ty you did something you weren't supposed to do. We weren't going to tell anything. I'm like, what?
Oh, shut up.
Shut up. Don't act like she wasn't playing it. Like, it was so ridiculous of Anika being upset with Kuzi. And like still after doing her exit interviews was still doubling down on why she was mad at Kuzi. I'm like, girl, you did the same thing. You literally did the same thing to her first. You were throwing her under the bus first before she was throwing you under the bus. But we digress.
Anyway. So we go to part 3. It's Ty and Claudia. This one was cool too. So they're on like a virtual chessboard situation and everything's on the virtual chessboard. It was a cool setup.
Very cool setup.
But it was answering questions about
the
season and the jury. And this was really, really close. So they both got the first 4 right. And then Claudia got the 5th right and Ty got the 6th. So they're literally tied going into the final question. Like, this is about as much like anticipation as I would have wanted. And yet I still didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I was just like, whatever. And Claudia ends up getting the final question correct and Ty gets it wrong. And Claudia is the final HOH. And in that moment I said, oh, don't get your hopes up.
I knew I didn't. I never did. I never did. Oh, wait. I put the wrong one up.
It's fine. Who cares? I don't. We're here because we wanted to wrap the season, point blank in the period. So Claudia wins the final HOH. She has the final decision on who to take to the final 2. And had she been thinking about actually wanting to win $100,000 herself, she would have evicted Ty and probably would have won. However, does she do that? Absolutely not, Lana. And our dear, sweet Daniel gets 3rd.
I never got my hopes up when it came down to Claudia winning because I saw it on her face. I saw it in her actions. She really wanted to show that showmances could get to the end together. And I was like, sure, they can. They definitely can. And some of them have. But
never to the final 2. Never to the final 2.
I mean, not in Canada.
Not in the US either.
Yes, they have. Jackson and Holly.
Oh, gross. I forget about that.
But they made it together. But you also know what happens when that happens? Everybody thinks that the man carried the woman. And you don't get the vote. Girl. You hid behind his strength. And he won everything and took you with him. Even though you can sit there. We'll talk about the final speeches later in a second.
Oh, boy, we'll talk about it. But Daniel. I'm so proud of him.
I'm so proud of him. I'm super proud of him because this has been something he's wanted for a very long time. And
he's been applying since season 1 of BB Can.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody who would have done such an amazing job and played this game. And I do know this. I will say this. As much as we sit here and say Claudia probably would have won if she took Daniel over Ty, I feel like Daniel would have out-talked her and could have swayed some folks to get him the votes that he needed. I think he could have outspoke her. And because listening to her final speech, Daniel would have ate her up.
You're not wrong.
He would have ate her up because we've been practicing for that moment.
Because I think it would have been Hope, Jonathan, Kuzi, Santina, Dan.
Think Renee. Oh, Dan. And maybe Renee.
Maybe Renee.
Because she did not respect what.
Oh, Anika.
Daniel
wins. Oh, no.
Daniel would have won.
Wow.
Because he would have ate her up. And
he would have ate her up. It probably would have been 7-2, or even 8-1. Honestly, I think all the
even 5-3.
5-3.
I mean, wait, The Crown and Santina 6 to 4.
Because the 3 potential votes would have been Renee, Shania, and Ty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it would have been 6-3 or 7-2, depending on
6-3, 7-2.
the swaying of the winds, honestly, with Renee. So,
but I think Daniel still would have won. Oh, that just.
Anyway, Daniel, we're so proud of you. I'm so happy that you got to live out your dream. I wish you would have won, but it's fine.
Whatever.
Not really, but it's whatever. And I didn't realize this. We get like a little bit of talking with the jury. I didn't realize Dan was literally in the jury house for more time than he was on the show.
Yeah.
Because of how everything ended up. I, for one, was gagged. I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
Me too.
So we go to the final 2 questions. Nothing was really shocking or intriguing, or did they write these questions themselves? I don't think so.
And neither person answered it well.
Is this the most underwhelming final 2 speeches?
Yes.
In BB Can history?
Probably.
Long are the days of Paris and Kayla. God, I miss that.
This was
even Dane and Anthony did better than that.
I mean, we go from last season where Kevin's passionate speech was amazing to this where both of them are just blah. This was this was their relationship in that house. This was the whole of like the overall of how their final speeches were meh. Their showmans was meh.
And the season overall was meh.
It was just so like both of them were just giving nothing. Like these answers were kind of like blah. Okay,
it's go on, girl, give us nothing.
Right. It's like, sure, girl. Okay, yeah. Ty, Ty has this social game all of a sudden, which I'm like, okay, he brought it out at 6.
Where?
I guess he brought it out at 6 when he ran the rest of the game and did everybody did his bidding. I don't know, but like, and then Claudia tried to give a sassy moment when Anika gave her question. Was like, you got carried to the end. Like, I brought him. Like, okay, yeah, you brought him this round, but every other round he brought you. Like it's, and then the final speeches and the final plea, and she wants to bring up, you all wanted a woman to win the season, and this is your chance to do it. I'm like, you can't pull out the feminism card and the woman card when you screwed over every woman for a man. You screwed over all the women in the game for a man. And now you want to say, but us girls need to stick together and vote for me? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. You put your best friend out and you did it on purpose for a man. Then you send all your other girl allies out for a man. And then you sit next to the final 2 with this man who has won everything. When all you had to do was cut him out to get some respect. Maybe the girls would have given you the respect if you would have cut Ty. But you didn't.
100%. I think, honestly, I think had she cut Ty,
she would have got the girls.
I know we talked about it. I think Kuzi would have voted for her.
I think too. I think she would have got the girls.
And I think maybe Santina would have voted for her too.
I think so. I think she could have won if she would have put the woman card after voting out Ty.
Yep.
But she would have.
I will say, her only good moment of her final speech was saying, well, I never considered quitting. I was like, oh, girl, you better in this one moment, and I'm never going to give you flowers again because the rest of your speech was shit. But you better in that one sentence.
I'll give you a petal. Look, let me pluck off a petal and throw it at
Literally.
you. You go, girl, because that's literally all you did. You go, girl, for a second, but then gave me nothing. But yeah, it's just it was. I was just like, just a mess. It was a mess. It was a
bad. I want to also talk about, so the jurors go to vote. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize Dan literally never voted.
Never voted. This was his first and only vote.
Because he was HOH.
Yep.
And the other time, he was on the board.
He never voted till now.
Gag.
Insane.
Is he the first juror to have never voted?
I don't know what the history is.
I feel like that's true.
I would say that's true.
If you're a bigger BB Can historian than either one of us, please let us know in the comments below. I think that's a record. And you know what? For that alone, bring him back again. He's nice enough to look at.
Sure.
But yeah, so then we get the only actual pre-jurors, John, Michael, and Rob, on the stage. And then I am very, very happy that Amal and Vanessa were there.
See, this is the thing. And I had to clarify that with somebody on Twitter who was talking about why are they there? They quit too. I said, no, they didn't self-evict. They left. They left. It was a personal thing that they had to leave. That self-evicted. He quit. That's the difference. And that's why they were allowed to come back and he was not. Because once you say the words, I self-evict, you have given up all your rights to be a part of the finale. They had to leave for family issues and personal reasons.
Yeah.
So that's why they were.
And honestly,
I'm happy.
And honestly, I would love to see either or both of them return in the future. I really do. Especially, well, I would say especially Amal, but Vanessa provided the entertainment while she was there.
She did.
So you know what? Bring them both back. I'd be fine with that. But and then I love she was like, oh yeah, Hope had the biggest impact because if it wasn't for his note, Zach wouldn't have quit. And let's be honest, the final two probably would have been Zach and Ty.
Oh, it definitely would have been.
Looking at how the season went, like,
and I would have been.
We would not be here right now talking about the finale.
No, I would have been checked out.
No, I maybe would have posted a 1-minute video saying, "Hey, we don't care enough. Bye."
We'll put a picture up. This person won, and then move on.
So we get the big moments of the night. We get Canada's favorite. Did Arisa name a top 3?
No, she did not.
No, there was no top 3 mentioned, but Canada's favorite, which I will say I did not vote for this individual. However, I am happy that they won. It was Jonathan. I was fine with it.
I'm not
a lovely person. Lovely person.
I'm not surprised.
Those East Coasters, man.
No, it's not even the East Coasters. It's Canada. Let's just be honest. Canada was go vote for the white man. That's just what they do. They always do. They always vote for the white people for their favorites. That's
not always.
Mostly.
Of the 3 seasons they've done it, they've all been men. And 2 of them have been white. So I spent a lot of time voting for Kuzi. That's all. You know what? If it wasn't Kuzi,
I'm okay.
I am fine with Jonathan.
I'm fine with Jonathan. See, it wasn't like last season where I was like,
where I wanted to scream.
Come on, Canada, seriously. But this one, at least, this is a nice human being. This is a good person.
Very much.
I would love to see come back.
Agreed.
And play again. So. Agreed. I'm okay with Jonathan. I like Jonathan. I think he's a lovely human being. He was very refreshing to have on the show. So I did like Jonathan. But I'm just not shocked.
I'm not surprised, but sure. He probably would have been my second choice behind Kuzi.
Yeah, sure.
And then we get the votes. And are we surprised? No. The winner is Ty.
Great, because we saw the writing on the wall, like since Final 6.
Yeah. 8-1.
8-1.
I am very thrilled and happy that Shania did not vote for him.
Sure.
Because I don't think it was a vote for Claudia. I believe it was a vote against Ty.
Sure.
So, all in all, it's a weird way to end the season. And we knew, like, from Final Six, like we both said, it's ties to lose. From the double, it was ties to lose. And I think I'm not surprised by the outcome. I think overall he played a very dominant game. Is kind of really the only way that I can describe the way that Ty played. He came in, established himself very early, and never let it go. And for that, I have to give him props in that regard, because that is very difficult to do. It doesn't matter who you are. It's very impressive to do that. He set comp records. He played a very dominant game. I didn't like the way that he played a lot of the time, most of the time, almost all of the time. But I can't say that he's not a deserving winner of the season.
Oh, no. I think if anybody else would have won besides him at that point in this moment, it would have been a letdown. If Claudia would have beat Ty, I would have been like very confused.
If Daniel had beat either of them, we would have been ecstatic.
I would have been ecstatic, but people would have been confused.
I will say I would have been one of those people that was a little confused, especially if it was Daniel versus Ty. I think I would have been very confused. If it was Daniel versus Claudia, I think I would be less confused and more excited. Yes. But, that's BB Can 11. Overall, not the worst season they've ever had.
No. But
BB Can 8 exists.
Yes, BB Can 8
barely. Barely.
Sort of.
For like 3 years.
I mean, it is what it is. It wasn't the worst. It wasn't the best. It was a season. I don't know what they're going to do next season to change if they have another season, but they need to do something to. If they don't want to do live feeds, they need to up their digital daily game because.
Yeah. I hope. I really do truly hope that producers other than Arisa are actually listening to the fans. Because I know Arisa is listening to the fans. And I know there's only so much she can do because she's only one of 5 executive producers on the show. So she is only one voice. She is the voice we hear.
Right.
But she is, when you think about it, she is only one voice in this room of producers who are making decisions to ultimately secure the fact that there will be a BB Can 12. I do hope there's a BB Can 12. I hope that live feeds return. I don't see it happening. If I'm being fully transparent, I don't see it happening. Unless another giant sponsor comes in and says, hey, we don't care what happens on the live feeds. And or if they get rid of HelloFresh as a sponsor, which given the fact that it was rampant throughout the season, I don't see that happening. So, if we have to sacrifice live feeds for getting another season that hopefully provides a lot of entertainment and shock value and anything like that, then I'll take it. I'm not going to be thrilled about it personally, but I'll take it because I do really love BB Can as a franchise and specifically Arisa as a host, because the one thing that has been consistent throughout everything is that Arisa is one of, if not the best reality TV hosts in North America.
Yeah.
Definitively, without a question.
Without a doubt.
Also, we never remember to talk about her looks during the episode, and it's always during the outro, so I'm going to bring it up now. That yellow dress, iconic.
She's amazing.
She looks great.
I say the Arisa Cox can do no wrong in my eyes. She looks amazing every single week. And she is a great host, one of the best hosts that we have in the BB Can, in the BB franchise. She's one of the best BB hosts to me. I just enjoy her. And I love the fact that she's a fan of the show that she's actually hosting. And she is engaged with the people who she's watching. She watches as they play this game. And I'm like, that's what you want in a host, somebody who's actually engaged in what they're doing and not just
Julie
getting to know
Chen
someone.
Mendez.
Like, what happened to you, Julie? You used to be invested, and we love that. It's just, I need more hosts to be more invested in the actual show that they're hosting and make it interesting. Like, you really care about what's happening in your game.
Yeah.
So,
with that being said, we do have BB25 on the horizon. I'm thrilled.
I'm thrilled.
I'm hopeful that, you know, the things that happened on last season do not happen again.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that they took that situation seriously and all of the situations that happened prior. And I hope that we see something different. Do I think we're going to see something different? I don't know. Because, you know, they're always going to cast people from, I'm going to say it, that area of the country. And they're going to cast people who have diverse opinions, for good or for bad. And if we do get a situation like that, I hope we get a winner like Taylor Hale. That's all I'm asking for. But yes, BB25 is on the horizon. I started seeing commercials on Paramount Plus, and I'm thrilled. We don't know when it's coming out yet. We don't have a date. But as soon as I'm assuming it's going to be about a month away. Is kind of where I'm thinking it'll be.
I'm assuming July, the early parts of July.
I'm thinking mid-June is what I'm thinking. Because last season was mid-June.
Was it? I thought it was July.
I thought it was. I'm going to do a quick Google search because I'm actually kind of curious. Oh, it was July. You are correct. July 6th. Okay. So, yeah, July 6th to September 25th.
Yeah, so I'm thinking July.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll give us a good little break, and then we'll get BBUS, and then we'll probably get a cute little break, and then it'll be BBUK. And you know what? I'm cool with that, honestly. So make sure to subscribe. In the meantime, we have a lot of other content. We've got Survivor content. We've got a whole hell of a lot of Drag Race content. And that's about all that we're currently covering. So
we have wrestling content once a month.
Yes. Every
end of the month usually is our big time. So we'll have another wrestling content video out next week, actually.
So in the meantime, make sure to subscribe. Check out all of our other content if you're interested. Follow both of us on Twitter because we're great. We're lovely. Get your merch. And congrats to Ty.
Congrats, Ty.
And congrats to the true winner of the season, Koozie.
Queen.
7th place robbed icon Koozie. So with that, cheers, Lana.
Cheers.
Woo. Goodbye now.
For the last time, someone is always watching.
Always watching. And it's usually Arisa Cox.
Arisa Cox.
Perfect.